Hello and welcome to the TCF Morning Show. It is Tuesday, March 16th, and this morning I am joined by Boomy at BoomyTCF and Matt Schoolfield at schools_01 on Twitter. You can follow me, Zach Lilia, at ZLiliaTCF. The main page is at typical_Chicago. This morning we'll be talking about the Bulls. They're playing the Thunder tonight. They won on Sunday against the Raptors, so we'll try to go for 2 wins in a row there. The Hawks blow a 3-1 lead, lose 3-6 to the Florida Panthers. That was a tough one to watch. And then we'll get into the NCAA Tournament, our Final Four predictions, potential upsets, sleepers, and players to watch. We're very excited to talk a little March Madness. It's been 2 years, boys, since we had the bracket, so we are excited. And then we'll also, Boomy, it's on ESPN Tournament Challenge. They can join our bracket challenge, right?
Yep. The link is on Twitter and Facebook. If you're interested, it's $10 a person. The payout is broken down on Twitter. I think it's third place, get your money back. Second place, get your money back, and then $10 added to that, and then first place takes all. And we've only had it live for probably 8 hours from this recording, and we've already got about 15 people in. So if you want in, head over to at typical_Chicago on Twitter or the Facebook page, get your entry in, send your money in on Venmo, and maybe you'll take second place because I'm going to win it.
Yeah, it's awesome. The app is awesome too because then you don't have to keep it all written down. It's all on there. So make sure you join the TCF group on the ESPN Tournament Challenge. You said find us on Facebook and Instagram, Typical Chicago Fans. Go over to the YouTube page, subscribe to the YouTube page, Typical Chicago Fans. Wherever you get your podcast from, just type in Typical Chicago Fans. You will find us on there. If it's Apple, please subscribe, rate, and review. Shout out to 26shirts.com Chicago. Use the promo code Typical Chicago Fans at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. Again, that is Typical Chicago Fans at checkout for 15% off of your purchase at 26shirts.com Chicago. Boys, it's been a while since we've done a show. I think it's been about a week or so. How we doing?
Doing great, man. Like you said earlier, it's March. It's the best month of the year for many reasons, but obviously we have the NCAA tournament back for the first time in 2 years. So things are great, man. I got no complaints.
My sentiments exactly. I got to echo what Boomy said. We got March Madness, best time of the year. I had missed it last year, obviously, and usually one of my favorite times of the year. So I took the time off work again this year. I'm just gonna sit at home, watch a lot of basketball, and just enjoy it.
Maddie,
be happy that we got it instead of not like last season.
A little over a year ago, we were planning on me sleeping in your basement and watching the tournament.
You were going to camp out, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the whole thing got canceled, but we got it back this year. I'm very excited. The only thing that kind of stinks is there's no games until Thursday. You usually get the play-in games, I think, like Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yep.
But they will all be played on Thursday. But once we get to Thursday, there's going to be so much basketball. It's going to be amazing, but we will get into that. First, boys, let's talk about the Bulls. They win on Sunday against the Raptors, a game they should win. But let's talk about those two before. You come off the All-Star break and you lose two tough ones. I mean,
yeah,
they weren't really close at all.
Yeah, they struggled coming out of the All-Star break, and I don't know how much you attribute that to being a young team. Maybe they enjoyed their All-Star break a little too much. I don't know, but Sunday night's win, a very convincing win, 23-point win, first one against the Raptors since 2017. I saw today.
That's against a team that you should beat.
Yeah, I agree. But then you could also look at some of the other ones, from the
I'm not saying that's a good win, and they need to build on it. That's the thing. With those tough first two losses, yes, but with this young team, hopefully they can build off of that and then keep this second half moving.
I saw some really impressive things. Where it was Sunday night. I dogged Denzel Valentine a lot, and he was instrumental in the second half. I think he scored 11, 10, maybe 8 or 10 straight points. He was just on fire.
He had back-to-back 3-pointers.
Yeah.
Patrick Williams played very well.
Yeah, 23-6 out of P. Will. Zach LaVine, and it's nice to see that one of those, the night that they come out and they play really well and they beat a team who they're kind of jockeying for. They have a very similar record as the Raptors. Zach LaVine has an off night, only has 15 points, and somebody else kind of picks it up. And like you said, Pat Williams with 23. Laurie had 13, Saturansky with 10. I mean, they had 1, 2, 4.
Oh, wait, I saw something. Yes.
Figures.
9 Bulls players scored in double figures in the Bulls win. The last time they did that, 1971.
That's insane. Even in the 90s, they didn't. That's crazy. But yeah, it's
a lot of players that have double.
You're not gonna get 10 guys scoring when you got MJ throwing 30.
You're right. So. You would think in one of those where they played, like the Grizzlies.
And plus the pace too was the pace was they were scoring 75, 80, 85 to win a game in the NBA and stretches in the 90s. So
you're right. You got a point.
But I don't know, man. You get down to it, it's a good win, like you said. Especially as bad as they looked in the first 2 games coming off the break. So it's encouraging to get a win, get back on track. I just want to say, Patrick Williams is going to be a very, very good player, it's looking like. And the trajectory is going up very, very quickly. And this guy sees the game very well.
When he had that little knee injury, I got very nervous.
He's a ridiculous athlete, and he does not get rattled at all. He's just ice cold. And it's really nice to have that kind of young player to start kind of, building with a Billy Donovan, and he's the perfect complement to Zach LaVine too, and that he doesn't need the ball to be impactful. And I know there's a lot of the comparisons that way, but it's Kawhi-like in that regard, where he can do so much on the floor that when he does have the ball, it's just he makes it look so easy because he's doing so many other things too. So it's I don't know. It's nice to have a player that's just got that ultimate kind of Swiss Army, skill set.
Yeah, it's really nice to see the development, and especially how young he is. I mean, there's
20.
so much potential there. It's insane. But
like I said, I think he's a really good compliment for LaVine. That's as much as anything.
It's nice to see. Like I said, you can see the team start building. See them building up, and hopefully, like I said, you can build on the win Sunday and win tonight. But the Blackhawks, let's get into this. They were up 3-1, looking real good. And ended up giving up 5 unanswered goals to lose 3-6 to the Florida Panthers. Coach Q. Oh man, these are tough. I mean, they looked like they were in control, 3-1, and then boom, 5 goals.
I mean, against a very good Florida team who's in first in the division. And are you guys starting to hit or at least get the panic button out a little bit? I mean, right now they're sitting in 4th place in the division. The top 4 teams make the playoffs. They're 7 points out of 3rd place, and they're only 4 up on 5th place.
I wouldn't say I'm not panicked, but it's one of those ones you got to get at least to overtime in this one.
Yeah, I'm not hitting the panic button by any means, but the Kevin Lankinen shine is starting to wear off a little bit.
And I think it's tough to hit a panic button on a team that you really didn't have
that's overachieving.
Too much expectations for. and you're just having kind of fun with it. And tonight's going to happen for a team like
you
this.
know what? Forget that because they played well enough that you can start having some expectations. Though.
Well,
They
yeah, you
started
can't.
showing you enough.
What I'm saying is that you can you're not gonna just quickly hit a panic button on a team.
No,
like
yeah, I
this.
agree with you there because they've showed you enough.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you know,
They can still
You're
right
saying
the
it's
wrong.
realistic to have expectations that they should be able to finish a game like that against
should.
Florida.
I mean, any NHL team should be able to finish a game like
ultimately,
this.
what you hope is what happened that weekend series with Tampa, where they blew a couple leads and stuff. Is you build from that, and you learn from those losses against the top end teams and the defending Stanley Cup champs. You hope you take that and you use it against the Florida, who's another, like you said, a really good team. But you hope that you use those experiences in the upcoming games. Didn't happen in these last
And
two
the
with
biggest
Florida,
thing tonight
but
or last night was power plays. They didn't
that
score on a
and
power play, and they got
penalties.
scored on a power play.
Bad penalties kill this team time and time again. It seems like, and
What
that's
I
what
mean,
happens
what
when
I mean
when you
is,
don't have a really good defense as it is, or you've got holes in your
And to play
defense.
a man
You
down.
can't continually give
and
up.
they didn't capitalize on the power plays either that they had. I think they didn't score on any of the power plays that they had, and then got a shorty on one of them.
Right,
Or gave up one.
there's a bunch of good offenses in their division too. So when you have that mix of some suspect defense
That's
at
when
times,
it's tough, and you're playing two goalies, and it's gonna get tough in this division.
Yep, I agree.
But like I said, move on from this. You don't want to panic too much about it, but it is a game that you do want to finish. You do need to. You're up 3-1. You want some sort of points out of a game like this against a
Matt,
division leader.
does the schedule get more difficult or about the same or easier going forward? I know we only have about 2 months left of the season.
Unfortunately for them, the Hawks were supposed to be one of the doormats in the division. So every game that they're playing is theoretically against a team that's probably got a bit more talent than them outside of Detroit in their division, because the way the COVID year is, they're playing only the teams in their division. But coming up, they've got you got Tampa again, and this one's in Florida. Then they got the Panthers again at home, and then they get the Preds. So that'll be that you got to win. You got to take those two against the Predators. You hope you got to split the next four with the Lightning and Panthers and get back on track. You got, if you want to make the playoffs, you got to beat good teams. That's the bottom line. And here's a chance to get some points. You got to start racking up overtime points at least at the very. If you're not going to get the two, you got to steal ones when you can. So that's what you got to be looking for.
But they'll move on. They're still in the playoff race, so you can stay positive about that. But let's move on to something that we've been very excited about. I know Maddie doesn't seem very excited right this second.
I don't know. Connor McDavid just got absolutely robbed, like unbelievably robbed.
NCAA Tournament 2021. We got the bracket out. We're going to talk about our Final Four predictions, some potential upsets, some sleepers, some players to watch. We're excited, people. So, boys, who wants to go with their first Final Four team or
I'll
first
start.
Final Four?
I'll start. And like I said, if you want in on the tournament bracket challenge, head over to at typical_Chicago on Twitter and the Facebook page. Just type in typical Chicago fans. If you got any questions, shoot us a DM, but get them in before the end of Thursday. So I'll start. I've got Gonzaga, Florida State, Baylor, and Houston in my Final Four.
I actually haven't done a bracket, so I'm just going to kind of look on here. I'm going to go Illinois. This is just top of the dome here.
Great preparation, Big Z.
I'll go. I'll start with mine while Big Z's perusing. I have 2 years, Boomy. I have Gonzaga and Florida State both. I think Florida State can win it. I love that.
Yeah.
I love the makeup of that team, and we've talked about it a lot. I think I don't know. I want to speak for Zach, but I know Boomy and I are both big Leonard Hamilton fans too, and what he just continually does for that program. And they're very, very tough and very tough-minded team and got a lot of talent. On the other side, I actually do have Illinois, and I also have Arkansas.
Ooh, I like that. They're playing very good basketball.
I think as much as anything, it's a draw for them. I'm not a big believer in Arkansas per se, I guess, but I do think Carolina is a very, very tough matchup for Baylor, and I do have Carolina going for the upset in that one.
I thought about that one quite a bit because Carolina's playing pretty well right now.
They're just they're big, and Baylor is not going to get the rebound advantage that they're so accustomed to. It seems like, and it's one of those spots where I think Roy Williams is such a good coach, and sometimes has a way of kind of getting the most out of his teams occasionally when they shouldn't, when he gets a lot of crap, and I think rightfully so sometimes that they don't show up at times. But yeah, I think Carolina, I don't think they've got enough juice to get to the Final Four though. So I do have them losing to Arkansas, them upsetting Ohio State. I shouldn't say upsetting, but
blowing their load against Baylor.
Yeah, it's like you win that one, and then I have them. I think they could beat Purdue as well. So
yeah, the Purdue's a very intriguing team because
Winthrop's just throwing that out there. Or Winthrop.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I got a good
team. Ohio State, Illinois. I want to go with you guys with Florida State. I like Alabama though. Alabama.
I don't hate it.
And then I got Gonzaga. I think it's just their year to make a run. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but they are good. But I also, who was I was looking at in there? Virginia. I think they've had some COVID problems, and I think that they could maybe make a little run there.
All right, let's start with that because we'll go into our upsets. I have Virginia losing in the first round to Ohio.
That could also happen too. Honestly.
I love Ohio.
Virginia
I played them like crazy last in the conference title.
Yes, they played so well this weekend against a great. I think they went through Buffalo and Akron.
Yep.
Those are two finals. Very good teams. And the rumor is that Virginia is not traveling to Indy right away. That they're waiting and then traveling. So that's the rumor. I also just think Virginia is wildly inconsistent this year. I like Virginia, but I love Ohio. Another one I'll throw out there: UC Santa Barbara and Creighton in that 5-12 game.
I was going to say that. I think Creighton could get beat there.
I think so too.
I just don't. I mean, they won their conference tournament, but like I don't know. I don't really
in a bad Big East, and UCSB I think has one loss all year.
I think it's a tough 5-12 matchup for them.
Yeah, I think that's like the side of the bracket of upsets.
Can I ask you guys a question before we get into anything else? Do you think they set up Illinois and Loyola to possibly play each other in the second round because they want some more eyes on this thing?
Of course.
100%.
Okay, I was just asking because
they want Chicago TV money, buddy. That's what they want.
Yeah, you got to remember how much money the NCAA claims they lost last year.
Have to win 3 or 4 to play each other. They both just have to win 1.
Correct.
And I mean, Loyola set up pretty nicely against. I know Georgia Tech, pretty good team, but I think Loyola was. They say they would. Do you think Loyola was misseeded?
No, I think they were properly seeded.
I do want to say Loyola is not going to win in the first round, so I hate to burst everyone's
I was kind of
hate to burst everyone's local bubble, but that Georgia Tech team is scorching hot right now. So
now some of the other matchups before we move down out of the West region, possible upsets. I'll just throw a couple out there. The winner of Wichita Drake gets USC, who has Evan Mobley, who is arguably a top 5 NBA pick. Do either of those teams stand a chance against that USC team?
No. USC is very good.
They have been a little, but they're starting to get together right now.
I think Eastern Washington could have a chance against a COVID Kansas team.
Yeah,
Eastern Washington could definitely play with Kansas. They can score with anybody, dude. They if Kansas
I'm
isn't
just
hitting their
saying with the
shots, Eastern Washington
situation also too.
will make that a
Yeah.
game. I can promise you that. They can shoot.
No, I will ask before we move to the East region, do you guys think there's any possibility that we're going to see a 16-1 upset this year?
No, but I've got a 215 on the radar that I've got a keen interest in.
I
But we'll
just
get
don't
there.
see it. I just don't.
We don't
I mean,
need
these
we
number
don't
one
need to
teams
leave
are
the
very good.
we don't need to leave the West region for that game to watch out for, and that's Grand Canyon in Iowa.
Grand Canyon's fun to watch.
Grand Canyon has some. They got a couple dudes.
And you know who their coach
real
is.
talented. Yeah, it's Bryce Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he knows attorney magic, obviously, but no, that's a team that can score. They've got really good athletic players. They got this kid. I can't remember his name. Had dreadlocks, but he's about 6'7", ball handler, shooting outside, super like springy athlete, like one of those kind of wiry players. Really, really fun, really good talented player, dude. And I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but you'll notice him when you watch.
I can picture the kid. I watched him play Utah Valley last week.
Yes, and they've also got a big that can bang with Garza, big dopey looking country boy, Grand Canyon. But he can bang with Garza. That's for sure.
Fellas, isn't it crazy that we were just robbed of this last year?
Yeah.
Sad to be honest with you. Let's move down to the East. Like we've all talked about, Florida State, is mine and Matt's pick out of there. But the big team that's in there that you'll probably recognize even if you don't watch much college basketball, Georgetown makes a very nice run, wins the Big East tournament. Do you think Georgetown's going to be able to keep it moving coming into the NCAA tournament? They get Colorado in a first-round matchup, who I think a lot of the public money is going to be on Georgetown because people recognize that name. People don't watch the Pac-12.
Yeah, I love Colorado.
I love Colorado.
I do too. I just don't. I mean, yes, they won the conference tournament and they played well
against Oregon State.
And I mean, Colorado's good. I think people
Colorado's
might
a very good team. I've
like
watched
you said,
a lot of them watching late night.
See the name Georgetown, and you think something else. And I'm not saying this team couldn't maybe do something, but Colorado is very good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes,
and the other one in that.
You guys think St. Bonaventure? We can get that.
I like St. Bonaventure.
Me too.
Not an easy first round draw. LSU's a good team. Obviously, it's the 8-9 matchup. That's a very close matchup. But we'll see if LSU playing in the SEC kind of helps them with the speed of the game.
That conference tournament championship there. That was awesome.
Yes, it was. Yes,
that was something that I love. No. I mean, Alabama. Wasn't it Alabama, LSU? That was awesome.
Insane.
That was awesome.
That was
very good game.
Are you guys buying any stock in the 11 seed in that region? Zach, you can cut me off if I'm going too in depth, but this is like my Christmas right now. So
good.
The 11 seed in there, Michigan State has to play in against UCLA. I think BYU is in for a hell of a game against Michigan State. They're putting it all together. They've gotten some big wins. Anybody like Michigan State to make a little mini run here?
Until they play Texas, because Texas is going to smoke the shit out of them.
But you don't want to see Izzo in March.
Absolutely, and I love Zach's pick of Alabama.
You want to see Shaka Smart with a team full of like 6'10" athletes that can just leap out of the gym?
It's so weird he has hair.
Yeah. Remember Shaka Smart's Havoc? Could you imagine him getting like these guys, this group of athletes to buy into that Havoc type defense? Where these guys are just they can leap out of the gym. It is nuts, dude.
Defensive.
Jericho Sims is ridiculous. Greg Brown, ridiculous, dude. These guys can just absolutely fly, and they're huge.
And not only that, I think they're also one of the teams when you talk about playing some of their best basketball at the right time of the year.
Yep. They're steaming hot too.
Really good Oklahoma State in the conference title. But let's move to the
sold.
You don't like Texas that much?
I just think I don't know. Matt is hyped up a lot there.
I think it's going to be them in Florida State in the Elite Eight.
I do too.
Put it that way.
I like that.
I think it's a bad matchup for Bama. I think Bama's a really, really, really good team, and I think it's a bad fit for them. All Bama does is shoot. If they're not shooting against Texas's length, killed.
Somebody can get hot from 3.
Don't hate that at all. Sorry, I lost my place here. Come on, you stupid thing. Sorry, fellas. Game Matt brought up earlier down in the South region, we have Villanova the 5, Winthrop the 12. Winthrop has 1 loss this year. That one's going to be a big one where people are going to look at it as an upset. Do we really think that? And the biggest thing you got to remember here is Villanova's playing with like half of their starters.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a pretty big upset spot there.
Yeah,
agreed. I have I definitely have Winthrop. I think it's a patented 5-12 game against a Villanova who's probably a 5 only in name because they're Villanova personally. So.
And like Zach had picked Ohio State earlier, I like Ohio State there. Oral Roberts, good team in their own right, but then they get the winner of the Florida Virginia Tech matchup, and even as a Florida fan, I'll admit Florida's down. Florida's obviously the best player.
I know they made a great run here at the end, even without their best player. But I mean, Virginia Tech, this could be a spot for an upset.
Absolutely, I don't disagree with you at all.
And really and truthfully, can we call a 7-10 an upset?
I agree with you, Zach.
You know what I mean? Because I understand like maybe like a 5-12 or something like that's even like that's still an upset.
7-10 is not an upset.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like this, how close.
Well, this is like the epitome of what that game normally is it's a good team from an above average conference like Florida that slides in at a 7 seed, and then maybe an overachieving Virginia Tech was picked 11th to finish in there, so they're kind of like an overachieving team in a good conference. It's just I agree. I don't think it's as big of an upset as maybe the numbers would portray. Let's move to the Midwest.
I got a dad joke, though, in the South, too, for dentists. It's got to be the region of dentists when you get Colgate and Oral Roberts together.
I love it.
16.
I love it. I got an Oral Roberts joke, but I'm not going to say it on air.
Real quick. Can I get a little breakdown on your guys' opinion on that Wisconsin-Carolina game? I want to see what you guys think. And there's another upset. Another upset in the making, too, is Utah State is going to beat Texas Tech as well.
I don't hate that, but I do think
every game I've seen Mac McClung play, he's played like dog shit. I don't know where the hype comes from, and I know it's probably just me and it's only the games I've seen, but every game I've watched that guy play, he is just like a loose cannon, just firing up shots that hit the side of the backboard and turning the ball over like crazy. I don't get it, but maybe it's just
that's definitely a very good possibility. Utah State is a good team. But I think on paper, North Carolina is the better team than Wisconsin. But it's really going to come down to this year. Like, to me, is the 5th best team in the Big Ten better than the 3rd best team in the ACC? And I don't know. I have Carolina picked, but
it's a bad matchup for Carolina, I will say that.
That's kind of where I was at with it.
I think it should be a good game. That's what I think. And I'm so
going to be very,
for all these
slow.
games. All right, boys. You said you were moving on to the Midwest.
Yep, we got the Midwest as our last division. Zach, what do you got?
We don't think Loyola is going to make it to the Illinois game, do we?
Georgia Tech's on fire.
I got a steaming hot Georgia Tech team, in my opinion.
I want them to play, though. I think it'd be awesome.
Well, I want to see it, but
I think Oregon State, boys. I'm not that impressed by Tennessee.
Neither am I.
And I agree, but to me, the Pac-12 is not that good. And Oregon State Oregon State all year was bad. They were not a good basketball team. They get hot in the conference tournament. I don't think that they're going to compete with Tennessee.
Do you think Syracuse can make a little run here? Because
yes,
I hope not. I just don't want them to.
I truly think they.
I think you're right, though. They snuck in, and I think they could somehow make a run.
Don't forget, San Diego State was a team that was like supposed to be like a legit, title contender last year, and they brought almost everybody back.
Yeah,
Morehead State might be the most exciting team to watch in the
first. Who's that?
Morehead State.
And
Yes,
it sucks. They have to
State's
play.
fun.
They have to play Huggy Bear, and it sucks for them because I'd like to see Morehead State just about against any other team
But
except
that's
West
one of those.
Virginia.
That's one of those teams you're just excited to watch in the first round. Yes, they may not move on, but they're going to have some fun, and maybe they can make it interesting.
I think San Diego State. I want to go back to that game. I think they're going to absolutely bury Syracuse. I think Syracuse stinks.
We'll see.
It's Buddy Boeheim or nothing for that team. I think San Diego State is every bit going to just smother that team defensively.
We'll see, because I mean they come from a conference. I don't know. We'll see. Clemson, Rutgers.
Ugh.
I think the Rutgers haven't made it since what, 1986 or 7?
This should be like the Friday game at like 10:40. The first, or whatever it is, the 11:20, whatever the first tip off in the Central Time is, 11:20. I think
it's on a Friday. I don't.
Just
when I'm looking
start
at
that game and get it over with.
I think Illinois they play pretty early, right, on Friday.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. I haven't looked at the times. Guys, I think Rutgers is going to win that game. I'm not convinced. I have Rutgers. And then I think
I really don't. I don't think, like I say, it may be an ugly game.
And I don't know if it's just because of the conference they play in. I don't think Houston gets enough recognition and just like the general public.
I think Houston's good.
Houston, and a lot of Illinois fans are going to hate me for this. I got Houston beating Illinois to get to the elite.
But that would be a good game.
Yes, I'm not a big fan of Houston, but they're a pretty solid team. I'll say that. The only team I think that really is a real threat to Illinois is no one that we've mentioned yet. That's Oklahoma State. Team, another team that is very, very hot. And if Cade Cunningham plays like he is able to, he can absolutely carry a game against anybody.
They have so much firepower that they can shut one guy down.
I understand that. I just feel like Cade Cunningham is legit an NBA player right now playing in college basketball. And I think when you have that.
Yeah, I get that, but they also have like 2 on Illinois.
I mean, he is like ready to go make it like an impact on the NBA level at this moment is what I mean. And I think that kind of game, if you get that kind of game from him, who was it against?
Baylor.
Oh, it was it Baylor? And then he had what? He have against 40 against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if he has one of those games, dude, they could beat anybody. That's all I'm saying. I think Illinois will beat them. I have Illinois in the Final Four. I think Oklahoma State is the biggest threat to them in that region. For that reason,
I know I'm saying this, but talk about a team that's playing their best basketball. I mean, there was
like the Carmelo effect, dude. Like, you know.
I mean, I guess
it'll be. I'm hoping we get that game because that could be one of the best of the tournaments.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be a great game.
I feel like Oklahoma State could also be a team that relies on one player. If something happens, they could get knocked out early too.
They could. If he gets in foul trouble or something, yeah, definitely.
And I mean, let's not even. I mean, Liberty has.
It's a dangerous team. It's a dangerous team.
Yeah, it's not like they're just going to lay down. I mean, that's a little bit of extra blood in the water for a team like that. That I mean, I think they've made like 2 of the last 3 or 3 of the last 4 tournaments. They're not just going to lay down for Cade Cunningham. They're going to give him their best shot. And then even if you look at the next round, whether it's Tennessee or Oregon State, I mean, you're not talking about a super easy route. Into the Elite 8 or Final 4, whatever you want to look at. Anybody have any surprisers that you got going deep that maybe no one else would really think of?
I have Ohio in the Sweet 16.
Yep, I did too. I have them beating UCSB, actually.
So do I.
I got Winthrop in the Sweet 16, but I'm not completely sold on that one yet.
I do not there. It's going to be very interesting. I think the lack of, well, I mean, there's going to be a minimal amount of fans or whatever it is, but the lack of like a presence of fans, I think, will make a difference. I think in some of those games where, the neutral crowd, they side with the underdog in those first couple round games, and it really starts building like a home vibe for teams that are, playing against one of the big dogs. It can have an impact, in my opinion.
It's not a crazy pick, but I think USC could really make a run.
I agree. I
think they are very good. All around very good.
It's the same thing as like Cunningham. Mobley is that kind of talent.
Yes.
It's like when you have one of those freak talents that just can literally be the best player on the floor. It's hard
They
to
seem
beat
like
that, no
the
matter
whole
what you
team
have.
just like they just know where they're all gonna be at. I mean, they're just very good. I've watched a
Yeah,
lot of
very
late
good,
night
very
USC.
athletic, and I think Enfield's a good coach too.
I agree. If you had to pick, looking at your bracket, one team that like you were given, $50 for free to put on to win the title that isn't maybe like a top 1 or 2 seed, so 3, or let's just even say a top 4 seed, to make it to the championship game. Do you guys have anybody in mind that you would take?
But really,
I have a
truthfully,
future. I have a future.
I really do like USC to win it. I'm not saying
I
I
think
mean,
it's a
that's kind
great.
of a
I
long
think that's a
shot.
fantastic ticket to buy, Zach. I honestly agree with you. I
Like
honestly
you were
think
saying
that's
with like, let's say Kansas beats Eastern Michigan. I mean, USC
Eastern
could,
Washington.
sorry,
They
Eastern
could
Washington.
definitely beat Eastern Washington. Could definitely beat Kansas. And
Either
Kansas
way,
might not even be there. It might
I
even
think
be Louisville
I
who
think
they're
USC
playing.
can beat either team. You know what I mean? And then, I mean,
Agreed.
I think it's just they have a good route there, and then you always catch Gonzaga there in like the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight. Anything can happen.
I think Iowa's very beatable. Garza has problems when he's going against other good bigs. He gets and Mobley could give Garza fits, dude.
We watched the other night when they beat Wisconsin. I mean, they couldn't make a 3-pointer.
No,
right?
20.
Yeah, no. Is there a bigger? I don't know. Are you guys Iowa fans?
No.
Is there a bigger douchebag than Fran McCaffrey? Like,
he's got
my
an extension.
God, dude. He's just such an asshole. I don't know why. I can't stand that guy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm a big fan. I mean,
Morehead State make like a Cinderella story, but I just don't know if they can get past West Virginia.
I kind of wish Abilene Christian didn't get stuck with Texas, too, because I think Abilene Christian's another team that would be really fun to watch.
Well, I truly think that Winthrop can make a deep run.
North Texas could be a problem, too.
Yeah.
Like Florida State, too.
Like who?
I love Florida State.
Florida State.
Yeah.
I have a future on Florida State. I did buy. That was one of the one I bought in like February, I think.
You know how amazing how just fun it is to talk about all this?
Yeah. It's like you got to make up for an extra year's worth of losing it. So
100%.
Even though it's a little different this year, it starts Friday. The first round is Friday.
Friday to Monday.
Games are Thursday.
Correct.
So there'll be
all like in the Indianapolis metro area.
There's 4 games on Thursday, so that's awesome.
I think Carolina plays at Mackey and at Purdue. I think that's where their game is.
We'll probably do one more morning show either Wednesday or Thursday night. We'll record it and maybe talk a little bit more about this. But, I mean, we just went through all 4 sides of the bracket. We talked about our favorites, who we think some upsets. But let us know if you got any upsets, who your Final Four is. Like you said, Boomy, the ESPN Tournament Challenge. The group is TCF. Join the group. It's $10 to join. First place gets...
Third place gets their money back. Second place, $20. So you get your money back and then double what you paid on your entry, basically. And then first place is going to take the rest. So if we have 20 people, the winner's going to take home 170. So whatever we get, basically take that times 10 minus $30 for second and third, and then the winner is going to take the rest. So Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, all options.
Yeah, it's awesome too because it keeps track of it for you. We don't have to worry about anything.
And max of 3 entries. Sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier.
Yep. So up to $30 you spend on it. I mean, you think about some of the
program. Nick Gons already has 3 brackets in, and he's going to lose all of them. So
I could have called that.
And I bet he has Illinois winning in at least 2 of them.
I got it. I can't wait to see the brackets because you can't actually see anyone else's brackets until Friday.
Yeah,
so
until the first game.
But like I said, keep joining. Then hit up Boomy to get him paid somehow. It's $10. So let's have some fun with that. But that's been the TCF Morning Show. We had a long talk about the March Madness. We've been waiting to talk about this. Then we talked about the Bulls and Blackhawks. Anything else, boys?
Hey, I got a wacky web story for you.
Oh, shit, my bad.
Oh. You're good. I came prepared.
Boomy's ready for one.
And I'll give you guys the choice. Do you want option A or option B?
B.
B, Maddie, B good?
I guess, yeah. We'll go with
All
B.
right, we'll go with B. The man who inspired the Amityville horror series, Ronald DeFeo, is dead at 69. So if you've ever seen the Amityville horror story of the guy who was possessed and killed his whole family. What?
It's not wacky. That's sad.
No, it's probably this guy killed his parents and his siblings.
Oh.
The guy who the movie is written about.
I thought you said the guy who wrote the movie.
No, the guy who inspired the movie.
Well, thank gosh.
So if you've seen Amityville horror,
celebrating.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I go as far as using the hard C on that, but I don't know if we're celebrating the guy's death, but I mean, yeah, I don't
Well,
necessarily.
He seems like a pretty bad guy if you just said what he did.
He was convicted of slaughtering his parents and 4 siblings. Obviously,
what are you? You just said said something to me. You almost just defended this guy.
That's not what I was gonna say. I'm just saying.
Can I switch to A? I want to switch my vote to A.
All right. Well, A.
I was interested in the other one.
Okay. Well, basically, that's the long story short. Zach, he inspired one of the best horror movies of all time by killing his entire family. Was sentenced to 25 years to life. On suburban Long Island. House became the base of the horror movie classic. Bunch of movies, yada, yada, yada. He's dead now at 69 years old.
What an age to die at.
Nice. The other story, Spanish police sink the drug smuggler submarine plans. In Madrid, Spain, police announced that Friday they seized a homemade narco submarine able to carry 2 metric tons of cocaine from Spain to South America or vice versa. It's about 30 feet long. And
that
they
amount
caught
of
it
could probably power the submarine itself. Holy shit.
Just let the guys get in the supplies and kick their feet off the back. They could themselves all the way to South America.
Take a little dab, boys.
Exactly. Yeah, we're powering. We don't need solar power. We don't need engines. Just kick your legs out.
We have the fastest boat around.
Yeah, it's the most green submarine on the boat. I like this one way better than B. A was the clear winner tonight.
Well, A was the winner, but they're both good stories.
B though, we found out a bad guy is dead.
Very bad guy.
So
very bad guy's dead. So.
And
shout out that bad guy.
Not the author, like I thought. I thought it was the author. Bad guy.
Which I'm pretty sure the author of Amityville Horror is Stephen King, but I could be very wrong on that.
I don't think Stephen King's dead.
No.
He has a lot of scary books, though. One more thing, post-show. Ryan Fitzpatrick signs with the Washington football team.
Wow.
His 9th NFL team in 17 seasons.
Impressive.
That's very impressive.
I'm really getting annoyed that the Bears are going to come back with Nick Foles.
I don't want to talk about it.
What do you mean? Who was the one that came up today?
That's
Andy
I was
Dalton.
taking famous Jameis, dude.
No, he just signed with the Saints.
I know. I would have taken him. They said apparently the Bears were involved in him, though.
Man, you really just made me sad there because now I keep seeing like, oh, here's something that would show why the Bears would maybe get him, and then they're out, and then maybe they're back in. I can't take this anymore.
It's gonna be like we're gonna be trotting out Andy Dalton and
Andy
Nick Foles.
Dalton.
It's gonna be an Andy Dalton, Nick Foles quarterback competition in at camp. That's what's gonna be, and I'm gonna cry for 6 weeks of training camp.
Now I'm sad. But this has been the TCF Morning Show, March 16th. I've been joined by Boomy at Boomy TCF, Matt Schoolfield at schools_01. I am Zach Lilia at ZLilia TCF on Twitter. The main page is at typical_Chicago. Instagram, Facebook, type in typical Chicago fans. You will find us on there. Go over to the YouTube page, subscribe to the YouTube page, morning shows, podcasts, interviews, food reviews, all on the YouTube page. So please subscribe. Then wherever you get your podcast from, just type in typical Chicago fans. You will find us on there. If it's Apple, please subscribe, rate, and review. Shot26shirts.com, Chicago. Boomy's got the shirt on there. If you want a shirt just like that one, go over to 26shirts.com, Chicago. Use the promo code Typical Chicago Fans at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. Again, that is Typical Chicago Fans at checkout for 15% off of your purchase at 26shirts.com, Chicago. Anything else, boys?
Let's have a beautiful rest of the week. Tournament's right around the corner.
Yep, we got tournament on Friday. We'll have a show either Wednesday or Thursday. We'll let you know. This has been the TCF Morning Show, Tuesday, March 16th. We love you all.
Peace.